Good evening. Welcome back to the Exit Light podcast for part 3 of Soulbound, a short novel written by me, your storyteller, Eli Beals. This book is available on Amazon and Kindle if you'd like a copy for yourself or somebody you know would enjoy it. Alright, let's get to it. Lying in his bed, listening to the thuds of prehistoria in the unit above, he wills his mind to slow down. Her name is Olivia. Yes, I know that. Olivia, that's her name. Yes, Jesus Christ. I need to sleep now. Olivia, Olivia, Olivia. This battle goes on for a while, and he does not know when exactly he drifts off to sleep. He doesn't dream of her. Instead, he is in a dark cell, held down by something he cannot see. Something is holding his head down, so he cannot turn it. He is cold. A deep set of voices begin a soft chant. Discordant at first, then coalescing into a single low hum. Hooded figures appear one by one, surrounding him, totaling 6. Nothing but black voids under their cowls. His breathing comes in short spasms. A throbbing pressure forms in his skull, like the onset of a bad headache. The chanting becomes more insistent, and the pressure increases to a dull, throbbing pain. Words. They are reverberating in his head like so many sledgehammers, but he doesn't know what they are or why they seem to be causing his bones to vibrate. Something is scattered over his face. It is hot, gritty, and fine, and makes him want to sneeze as it is inhaled into his nose and clings to the back of his throat. Ash. The chanting is a roar so big and so loud that it shatters his sense of hearing, and is thrust into an open space of his mind so vast and silent that he can only surrender to its pressing will of nothingness. He wakes up before the sunrise, and he is sweating in profusion. Never in his life has he been so terrified. Correspondence to one Richard von Francis, date February 4th, 2015. Dear Mr. von Francis, as I have stated before, the Catholic Church, and certainly not the Archdiocese of San Francisco, has any connection to a clandestine group, as you describe as demon hunters. I fear that possibly you are reading too heavily into this matter from outside influences or giving conspiracy theorists too much credibility. I understand you have an intense interest in the occult, but our organization simply provides spiritual guidance, and though your convictions are admirable, we can do nothing more for you than that. May the Lord bless and keep you. Sincerely, Father William Sorensen. Journal entry dated February 6th, 2015. I don't know why I continue to seek aid of the Church. They are mired by their bureaucracy and cannot see past their own noses. There's a war going on, and they complacently sit idle, safe behind their stone fortresses. Perhaps I will send them my evidence that I have recorded here and collected in my experiences. My only fear is that they will not see it for what it is, and misinterpret it as they misinterpret the Scripture. They say that demon hunters are a fiction, but I can attest this is not true, for I am one, and carry out this grim profession on a nightly basis. I am alone in this, I see now. Reginald is sadly no longer on this earth. I went to visit him yesterday, and was informed of his untimely death. Demons inside the prison, no doubt. But his spirit is now with God. He can do no more on this earth. I am alone. A strange recollection occurred last night. Amidst the crowd of people, a single face stood out to me. She looks exactly as I remember so many years ago. I was forced to remember a life I no longer care to recall, and the memory was a shameful one. But the recollection was clear. It is her, a true demon, not some lesser imp that pervades certain mortal shells walking about. Evil surrounds her, and it must be found and extinguished. I must be patient. An opportunity will present itself. I have found my nemesis. This is my destiny. In the meantime, there is more unpleasant business with her demonic minions. As I now suspect, she is the source of evil that spreads through this foul city. One at a time, if it must be so. I will do my duty, God willing. He's at Ichabod's, having his usual, but without his usual sense of calm. His phone rests on the tabletop. He checks it intermittently in case he misses her reply due to a loud bit of conversation at the table next to him, or a passing jet, or a brief lapse in consciousness. His late morning message to Olivia has gone unanswered for several hours. It is 2:00. He had invited her to join him here. His attention bounces between frequent checks on his phone and scanning the foot traffic, hoping to see her walking in the sunlight. For some reason, the image seems very wrong, misaligned with her natural environment. Dark alleyways and foggy dance floors, moonlit and perfect. He finishes his coffee and departs for the morgue. He is making up for his absence from the previous Wednesday. It is Thursday again, which means Olivia is certain to be at Nosferi nightclub. The conversations they conduct are always at night and go on for hours. Little blocks of text sent through the air, received and sent through glowing smartphone screens. Not his preferred method of conversation, but it's better than nothing. He supposes that she is simply busy and will get back to him later. It is both wonderful and frustrating at the same time. A smiley emoticon is not the same as a real smile, especially not hers. The morgue is located near the county jail. It is an austere concrete box 5 stories above ground and 3 below. Parked outside the front overlooking a busy street are the usual assortment of police cars, ambulances, and the occasional civilian vehicle, called in to identify a body, settle formalities, or collect personal effects. Past the warren of cubicles and glass walls, down below the ground level, through a well-polished corridor behind a set of stainless steel doors, is where the next 7 hours of his time will be spent. Dr. Sterling greets him warmly as he passes into the somber confines of Examination Room 6. "Hello, Everett. Feeling better?" "Yeah, I think it was some bad calamari." He knows Dr. Sterling's distaste for seafood is an easy way to add credibility to his story. The mere mention of anything fish-related causes the man to pale. Everett finds it ironic that a man who doesn't blanch at the sight of a human body dead for weeks in a bathtub, bloated, black, and soupy, gets all queasy on the subject of seafood. Dr. Sterling sends Everett on a mission to find batteries for his tape recorder and some vinyl gloves. His skin reacts to latex, and he's told them several times, but they keep stocking his supplies with them. Everett promises to take care of it, and dutifully carries out the tasks assigned. On his way to B2, even deeper in the bowels of the building, he receives a text message. His heart leaps. Not Olivia. It is not the number on Desmond's business card, but he knows it's him. Desmond, we need to meet soon, at your nearest convenience. Everett, okay, tomorrow at Ichabod's, around 11 a.m. good? Desmond, indeed. See you then. The rest of his shift can be filed under just another day in the morgue, as nothing out of the ordinary can be described, from a junior medical examiner's assistant standpoint anyway. Sure, rib cages were removed, brains weighed, fluids extracted, and sent off to various labs for toxicology reports. Swabs were performed, catalogued and carefully enclosed in plastic containers. All the while, Dr. Sterling's voice is narrating in a smooth clinical tone. But what stays at the forefront of Everett's consciousness is the glowing fog of Nosferai nightclub and the possibility of seeing Olivia again. Night starts to descend on the city, and the nightclub is just beginning to gather its faithful subjects. There's a line to get in this time. At the front, just before a velvet stanchion, is a group of chattering 30-somethings. One of them catches his eye as he passes and smiles. She is wearing a black dress and a veil of fine lace. Long black satin gloves tied with red ribbon cover her forearms almost to her elbows. Her hair is fire engine red. Clearly she approves of his attire, which he bought today, and he can't help but smile back. He is quite proud of his choices, and thinks wearing all black makes coordination a thing of the past. He scans the line, hoping to see Olivia somewhere tucked behind all the other black-clad nightclubbers as he makes his way to the end. She isn't here, and he finds himself standing behind a very tall guy with a huge skull embroidered into the back of a leather duster. It is now fully dark, and the velvet rope is unlatched from the stanchion, and a procession begins, each wrist stamped with bite marks and allowed in after a thorough inspection of their IDs. He orders a Red Bull and vodka, while watching hopefully for Olivia to make an appearance. The place fills up pretty fast, and the bar gets really busy. He leaves to find less crowded vantage point. After a while he checks his phone, and there is a text message waiting. It is 15 minutes old. Olivia: "Hey there. Sorry it took so long to reply." Everett: "That's okay. What are you up to tonight?" Olivia: "Staying home. Not feeling so great. How about you? Are you at Nosferai?" Everett: "Good guess. Sure you're not here somewhere spying on me?" Olivia: "Very tempting, but no." Everett: "Oh well, I'd love to see you. Anything I can do? I can get you some soup or something." Olivia: "How sweet. Think I just need to rest." Everett: "Okay, if anything changes, let me know." Olivia: "I might be free tomorrow." Everett: "I'm working all night. Saturday?" Olivia: "Let me consult my magic 8-ball. A few seconds pass. Olivia: "Your chances are good." Everett: "Can't wait. See you then, Olivia. Get some sleep." Olivia: "Thanks, Everett. Good night." Everett: "Good night, Olivia." He looks up from his phone at the nightclub, which suddenly looks tawdry and devoid of anything he'd call interesting. Without her presence, it is just a low-lit room full of sweet-smelling fog and bodies. Even the music seems to dim in his mind. He leaves his half-empty Red Bull and vodka on a table and walks out. He just follows his feet for a while, not really paying attention to where he is going, when another set of nightclubs can be heard thumping away around the corner. His pace slows as he takes note of where he is, realizing he is now halfway across town. He thinks about maybe taking Uber home when he hears a laugh from around the corner. Instantly he thinks of Olivia, and he peers through the glass corner of a salon to a streetlight across the street a few buildings down. He sees two silhouetted figures. One is tall, the other is short, female, and very Olivia-shaped. The man facing Everett's direction is looking down at the girl, Cigarette smoke billows in clouds every few seconds from his mouth. He hears him laugh, a husky hyena's trill, and the cigarette is tossed into the street. Sparks scatter as it hits the ground. The girl drops hers and snuffs it out with a small foot. They are holding hands and heading to a dark recess between an all-night diner and a sorry close for the day laundromat. Everett is sure it is her, and his blood is boiling. He feels a jealous rage rising in him, and he waits for a few seconds before crossing the street. He should have known better than to go flying face first into this nonsense. He plans to accidentally interrupt them with a bullshit excuse. He just wants her to know that he knows and it's over, but it hurts badly. How can something be over before it even begins? A small voice asks him. That voice is cool, calm, collected reason. He ignores reason and rounds the corner into the semi-darkness, ready to pounce. What he walks into is definitely flung way back on his list of things of crazy shit I never expected to see. What at first appears to be a loving embrace is actually a 5'2" girl with her teeth sunk into the open throat of a man lost in lunatic ecstasy. Everett can hear subtle gulping sounds, and he knows she is drinking the tall man's blood. All of it. She doesn't stop, but turns in a sort of ballroom swoon, so her eyes are now locked on his. The man's head is flopped back unnaturally, given the extra limberness provided by the huge gash in his neck. His eyes also pointed in Everett's direction, but are staring at something very, very far away. Everett is frozen to the concrete. He couldn't move even if he knew a piano was falling from the roof of the building above, and a semi-truck was careening in his direction with no brakes and maybe some other stuff that would smash him to goo. He can't blink. He can't look away. He can't process yet the fact that Olivia is a vampire, and she is sucking the blood out of this poor unlucky bastard. Whatever it does not feel, however, is any revulsion or fear, just pure open-mouthed fascination. She lets the man's body fall to the ground and keeps her eyes steadily on his. She draws a sleeve across her mouth and looks down at her kill for a brief moment of consideration. The body fizzles and crumbles and smolders, and then it is gone, and she is back to regarding Everett in a calm, albeit feral, manner, trying to decide something, and then she smiles that sweet, disarming smile that Everett would do almost anything for. "I'm feeling better now," she says as she approaches slowly. "That's good to hear," Everett says. "I wasn't totally dishonest, you know. Are you scared yet?" "No, just, are you going to kill me?" "No, you were supposed to be my breakfast last week. Had to skip a meal." She whines and lights a cigarette, and he thinks now would be a good time to start smoking, if there ever was one. "Can I get one of those?" "Sure. Thought you didn't smoke." "I don't. Get ready to laugh." He accepts the thin tobacco-packed cylinder without a single tremor. She is clearly impressed with how he's taking all of this. She draws nearer to light it for him, and he takes a tentative drag and nearly chokes, but forces his lungs to accept it. They do so grudgingly, and he exhales with a tiny little cough. "You're a natural." She's grinning, and he sees the fangs, longer than the rest of her teeth, but not all that vicious looking. Kind of sexy, he thinks. The clinically detached part of his brain is saying that her canines must be retractable and possibly hollow for better hemo extraction. "Yeah, I learned fast. So what now, Everett?" No answer. They smoke in silence, watching the proverbial cat run around now that it's free of its cloying confines. Everett shrugs and just smiles in bewilderment. What do people normally do when they find out what you are? They die, one way or the other. It's rude to sneak up on people like that, by the way. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought, well, I got jealous. She laughs. It sounds free, light, and genuine, and for a moment they are just two people enjoying each other's company. She digs through the pile of expensive-looking clothes and finds a car key and a wallet. Want to steal a car? She's holding a black rectangle emblazoned with a Maserati logo. They walk around for a while, searching for the fine Italian driving machine that the key will start. Olivia is holding the key out like a homing device, clicking the door unlock button every few seconds. They find it parked a block away from the alleyway, its lights flashing in response to Olivia's frequent clicks. The Maserati rumbles to life as she presses the start button. The interior smells of leather and spicy power cologne. The radio is on, some guy talking. Words like oil, deficit, market, war, and Obama are used a lot. Lawyer. Wife left him. Caught him in the laundry room with the au pair. That's enough of that. She kills the radio, leaving them alone with the sound of the engine. She adjusts the driver's seat closer to the steering wheel. The previous owner was a good 1.5 feet taller, and almost self-consciously she gives Everett a look that plaintively says, "Yeah, I'm short," and signals off the curb into the nighttime traffic. She drives the car with natural ease, a slight smile on her face, attention wholly on the action of steering, braking, and signaling turns. Everett doesn't question her ability to drive, just as he doesn't question the reality of the fact that here he is, in a dead man's car, traveling to places unknown with a vampire. He files this away under stuff that happened that nobody would believe even if I told them. They don't speak for a good long time, worried that the 70,000 questions buzzing around his brain would annoy her. Everett just stays silent. As if reading his mind, she says, "I bet you have a ton of questions." "Yes?" "You can ask one, for now." He has to think about it for a moment. "Where are we going?" She laughs then, looking at him. "South." Highway 1 stretches out before them. The traffic is light, allowing the Maserati full reign of the road. Everett doesn't mind. He just enjoys the ride, glancing at Olivia's profile as she guides the stolen car to some unknown destination at an easy 115 miles per hour. The car rumbles to a halt on the shoulder of the highway, the tires crunching gravel. An empty expanse of sand can be seen in the broad sweep of headlights. "We're here," she announces cheerfully. They walk out onto the beach, listening to the steady crash of the waves rolling in from the Pacific. She stops and stares at the black water for a while before speaking. "I don't remember how it happened, or why I am the way I am. It's like I know there's this whole other life I used to have, and it's behind a locked door in my mind. I can't see it, but sometimes something sort of occurs to me. I remember that night meeting you, I got a feeling of familiarity, like I know you somehow. Am I familiar to you?" She turns into the moonlight, and her face is serious, thoughtful, searching. As much as Everett wants to confirm his feelings as mutual, he cannot place her in his memories. "I would know if I met you before, trust me." Her eyebrows pull together in consternation. "I've never spoken of this Pretty much anyone I talk to becomes dust. I don't have any friends or family. If I do, I can't remember them. All I do is kill people, she says helplessly. He puts an arm around her then. You can talk to me, Olivia. I know, that's what's bothering me. You sure you don't know me? Not yet, but I'm hoping that changes. She lights a cigarette. This is one thing I think I used to do when I was, alive. You aren't dead. Trust me, I would notice. The dead don't usually steal Maseratis. She smiles, snorting smoke through her nostrils. None of this is creeping you out, at all? I'm open to new things, but I admit I am curious about some details. I've never met a vampire before. Yeah, I guess that's what I am. He dredges up all the things he knows about vampires and wonders if any truth is buried under all of that fiction and superstition. So far, all he knows is that she drinks human blood, and when drained, the victims crumble into nothing, leaving only their clothing behind. Not even teeth. What sort of process is that? He wonders. It takes approximately 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit for 2.5 hours to properly cremate a human body. Even then, the hard enamel of teeth don't ever fully burn. From what I saw, or think I saw, I'd say that's what it is. Can you bear the sight of crucifixes, holy imagery? Does the power of Christ compel you? She giggles. No, I like that stuff. Part of the whole goth image. She holds up her right hand, displaying a silver ring with a huge onyx crucifix. Yeah. What about sunlight? I don't know. You haven't tried being out during the day? No, well, I can't. I sort of pass out when the sun is coming up. What do you mean? I have no idea what happens. It's like I fall asleep and wake up a second later, except it's always dark. I just find a good place to hide before sunrise. I did wake up in the morgue once, but that was a long time ago. How long ago? How old are you? She tuts at him, smiling with her eyes narrowed. Asking my age, I'm offended. I think that was in the early 80s? 1980s? Yes. As for how old I am, I don't really know. I think maybe late 50s. Haven't thought about it in a while, actually. She says this with a touch of sadness. He thinks about her endless night, stretching for decades. He simply can't imagine what that would be like. He thinks about life in general, and the constant need for improvement and growth, the human desire to make some lasting impression on the world. All of that is irrelevant for her, frozen, trapped in her forever 20-something body. Her only imperative is to drink human life away, night after night, for eternity. He shudders. You okay? Yeah, it's just that it must be horrible not knowing what it means. It doesn't mean anything, she says immediately as she lights another cigarette. Why do you smoke? I like how it feels. It's heavier than the air I don't really breathe. You don't breathe? I guess not, huh? I do sometimes when I'm, trying to appear natural. Are there others like you? Is there a vampire support group I attend on Wednesdays every second week of the month? No. As far as I know, I'm the only one. He can tell she's enjoying this interview, and his list of everything I want to ask a vampire is not getting shorter. So he keeps asking questions, and she keeps answering. They walk along the surf talking. For every 5 of her never-ending supply of cigarettes, he smokes one. The lightheadedness from the nicotine is nothing compared to the head-spinning reality he is trying to compress now. Finally, at 2:30 in the early morning, they are silent again, and he summarizes the mysterious Olivia into something he can almost quantify. A vampire, unaware of her limitations, weaknesses, or origins, setting out night after night to carry out a single biological imperative that may or may not mean her survival. Going without it causes her discomfort and a tendency to be overcome by some will other than her own to take control and seek the desired substance. Like a drug she has become entirely dependent on. So she plays the role of a seductress, which suits her very well, and chooses her prey with a connoisseur's discriminating palate. He understands why she picked him. She guessed him as a loner by nature, and wouldn't be sorely missed or mourned by many. "Daylight is coming in a couple hours," he says. "I know." The drive back to the city feels shorter than the drive to the coast, Everett thinks. They leave the Maserati in a parking garage, with the key on the driver's seat. They walk, holding hands like boyfriend and girlfriend, to the end of the block, and she nods at a tall apartment building across the street. "That's me there." He tries to guess which unit is hers. "Number 603. She looks at him intently, waiting for something. He kisses her then, and for that instant her monstrous nature is forgotten, and to him she is just a girl he has spent the most amazing night of his life with. It feels nothing short of natural. She draws away and jogs with feline grace to the front door, where a doorman nods curtly as she nears and opens the door for her. She turns to wave at him. He waves back, still tasting her lips. Soulbound continues next week for part 4. See you then.